Hey team, my name's Justyn, and today I wanted to talk to you all about applying a focus to your choreography and your cueing. The reason you might use a technique like this is actually threefold. One, it's going to, the big thing, allow you to draw more out of your participants and your members and get them to actually do more throughout the course of the workout. Secondly, it's also going to extend the life of your choreography, so you won't have to change your routine every week. It's going to make it so much easier on you. You can just focus on being an instructor rather than having to always come up with new routines. Lastly, we know that members, we tell them about the values of cross-training, and we know that to get results, the value of cross-training, but members are limited to their time schedule, and a lot of times they just don't have the time to make different classes to get the cross-training. So it's going to be a way to kind of introduce cross-training to them without actually full-on cross-training. So first, let's go ahead and start with getting our members to do more. That was the big one, getting our members to do more. So let's start with a squat. So we all know how to teach a squat. If we've been doing fitness for years, we all are comfortable. So we'll just start, introducing the squat. Now, what are the cues that we'll say when we do a squat? Weight in your heels, bend from your knees, bend your hips, keep your chest up tall, shoulders back and down, abs in and tight. Now go ahead and smile while doing this. Oh, whoa, time out for a second. Did you hear all that? That's a lot to have to say. That is just a lot to have to say. Not only is that just a lot to say, that's a lot for people to have to hear and interpret, then do. That's just a lot. What was the first thing that I said? What was the third? What was the last thing that I said? Oh my goodness, it's just hard to even remember yourself, and you know how to do a squat, how to do all that. It just leads people to being unsuccessful because there's just too much to have to worry about. Instead, if we went ahead and took the squat and just said, weight in the heels, and then checked in, keep your weight in your heels. Regardless of anything else that might be going on with these people, all we reminded them was weight in the heels. Guess what? By the end of the class, they're going to be able to keep the weight in the heels. They're going to have done the squats the way that you wanted to do them to keep the weight in the heels, and then they'll be able to come back next week and you'll be able to change the focus and they'll remember weight in the heels because they'll remember what that feels like, and you'll be able to get them to do more next week. See how that works? Focusing your cues extends the length of your choreography, because what you'll be able to do is take a solid block turbo kick, for example, a final piece. Maybe it's double bob, boom, then 2 twists, some step knees, some quick crosses, and a zigzag with a knee. And that's the final product. And we might not think that's that much, but for some people, that's a lot to have to worry about. What if we looked at all of that and we said, okay, for today's class, we'll teach the whole thing. We won't teach you different, but we're gonna focus on the twist. So when it comes time to doing that twist and we introduce that move, we're gonna go ahead and tell them, I want you to drop your back knee to the floor. Whoa, see how much lower I go? I almost disappear there, don't I? And then when we put it together with the double bob and then we go into the twist, we're gonna remind them, knee to floor, always. And that's all we're gonna worry about. We're not gonna worry if they get the quick cross to zigzag. We're not gonna worry about if they get the step knee. We're just gonna worry about getting their knee to the floor. And the way that this extends your choreography is next week, you might come back to the twist, or next week you might come back to the same routine, but what you're gonna do is you'll say, okay, we'll worry about the double bob. I want the double bob to be as low to the floor as it can. The twist can look like whatever, but the double bob, let's make that look good this week. And then the following week works on the step knee, and the following week work on the quick cross. Now, you just made your choreography last for 4 weeks. You haven't changed anything. All you're doing is focusing on a different move out of that whole piece of choreography. Focusing your cues also kind of introduces the concept of cross-training. It's not really cross-training per se, but it kind of takes from the values of it. Let's go back to the twist. So let's say that first week, I'm teaching the twist, and my cue is knee to floor. So I'm having everyone drop their back knee to the floor as they do that twist. All right, well maybe the second week, I'm gonna do that same move again, but instead of knee to floor, I want you to jump on that knee and I want you to lift up. So it's the same move, but it's being executed entirely different. So there's going to be an entirely different set of muscle recruitment, an entire different kinetic chain that ends up being worked, so that we end up working the muscles differently, similar to the way you would in cross training. So that's a good way to think of it. We can take the same exercise and we can perform it one way, and then, oh, well, how can we perform it again a different way that's going to just get them somewhere different. Let's go ahead and summarize the values of focusing your cues in choreography. So to do this, what we want to do is we want to look at the exercise that we've picked, or we want to look at the final piece of choreography that we're going to utilize. And what we'll do is we'll just pick one thing. And why one thing? Anything more than one thing is just too much to say, too much to think about, and it just becomes white noise when we hear it over the music. So we're just going to pick one thing, and what we'll do is we'll give them either a form and technique cue of how we want them to execute that one thing, so they can go ahead and execute that the best they can so they can do more, or we're going to tell them a manner in which we want them to execute that one thing so that they can go ahead and really push themselves. What this will do is it'll allow you to actually draw more from your members, because they'll go ahead and every week you can build upon those one things, or it's also going to allow you to extend the life of your choreography, because now you can use the same piece of choreography, but if you teach it one way one week and apply a different focus the next week, it's going to feel entirely different. That alone kind of gives you some of the benefits of cross-training, because now you're working different muscles and recruiting different muscles via different kinetic chain. If you have additional questions about how this works, or how to utilize this technique, or you need more examples, go ahead and hit me up. I'll be glad to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.